What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 6, our Danny Pereira episode.
Our LeBron.
And LeBron. More important, I guess, for my co-host E here, my good buddy, on record as my best friend E. It's a Sunday evening here in sunny Austin, Texas. You were at the Hot Sauce Festival this afternoon. I was taking in some National Football League action. My Steelers squeaking out an ugly win. But we're not here to talk about that American football. We're here to talk about everybody's favorite team, Austin FC. And we have a guest today.
We do.
Those of you, I'm pumped, man.
This is big.
Those of you active in the Austin FC community, particularly on social media, I think will be familiar with our guest, the one and only PhoenX. PhoenX, how you doing, man? Welcome to the pod.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, you guys.
Yeah, man. We're, like we said, excited to have you. We were kind of talking a little bit before we pressed record here.
Mm-hmm. We get a free agent signing, we throw him in right away.
Hey, I take that in Austin every day of the week.
There we go.
Throw him into the hot seat.
We were just again excited to have you on because even before we started this podcast, I think most of the time Ian and I would kind of lurk in those Twitter spaces, in particular the We Are Austin TV. They kind of lead our community. I think at this point, Those guys bust their ass, and I think we all love them for it. But so to get you on here, I guess before we get into the game, obviously Austin FC in a tough stretch right now, and we'll get into that down to the nitty gritty of the loss up there in Seattle, which you actually attended. But before we get into that, if you could, Phoenix, tell the people and tell us, right, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, as much as you're comfortable sharing. Let's hear a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So I was born and raised in Austin, as why I'm an Austin FC fan. I've lived there for probably 23, 24 years. And then kind of once COVID started, I was like, you know what? Let's move out of Texas. Let's look at something else, get a different environment around me. So I moved up to Portland. And with that came my thought process of Austin FC. I'm going to be watching every single game pretty much from my couch. So I was like, you know what? Let's throw a camera on it and let's live stream my reaction and commentary and, talk about MLS, Austin FC, soccer in general with anybody that wants to come in and do that. So I stream my reaction to pretty much every single Austin FC game over on YouTube. And
Yeah, man, I've checked out a couple of those streams. I know your channel is growing. I realized like a week and a half ago, because I've caught a couple, like I said, but I hadn't hit that subscribe button yet. So I did that finally about 10 days ago, I think. And I would encourage everybody else listening to do so, because it's not just Austin FC watch parties over there, right? You do. I've seen some FIFA content.
Yep.
Ian and I are big FIFA players. At least we kind of do 2-on-2 online against people. But so I guess, but before we jump into it, go tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so on YouTube it's Phoenix HD. The only difference is there's no I in the word Phoenix, and that's it's the same as on Twitter, Phoenix HD. Actually, did I ever change my Twitter handle? Now that I say that, no, it's Phoenix_YT on Twitter, and then there's a link to all my other socials on Twitter from there. So that's probably the easiest way to find everything.
Nice. Awesome. Well, hopefully there's a little bump there in the followers, the subscribers.
Love to see it.
Especially if people listening hang with us through the next hour or so, I think you're going to hear some good insight from Phoenix, like you always do if you're already connected with him.
Definitely a couple hot takes coming in here. I'll warn you guys right now. I got some stuff that I've gotten yelled at before and some new things that I'll probably get yelled at for after this.
All right. Well, I can't wait because I know Ian last night was getting a little spicy.
Yeah, I got active
over there on the Austin FC subreddit.
I got active on the Reddit.
And I think Ian and I, especially when it's just us two on the podcast, maybe can be a little bit too agreeable. So maybe we can get a little spicy here today. But again, as we all know, unless you've just been tuned out from the Verde action this weekend, 3-0 loss up there in Seattle. Not what we wanted to see, especially now on a 3-match losing streak. It really, I guess there's two things, right? Number one, ever since we got into a position where it was win and you're in for the playoffs, Austin FC has not recorded a point over those last 3 games. But then, Ian, you brought up last night, we also have not recorded a point since you and I met John Gallagher and Jared Stroud on the field after that Austin FC win over LAFC.
I think 1 goal.
Yeah, against Portland, right? So, Ian, do you think there's any sort of dark wuju going on here?
Yes, I do, for sure.
Okay, so
I think they need to invite us again so that we can negate the original.
Everything out.
Yes, it's like a nope on a nope and exploding kittens.
There you go. I like it.
Exactly what it is. They need to see us again. We have to be covered in beer. Maybe we'll be able to score some goals here, get a point or 2.
I'm happy with a single point at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, shoot.
Yeah. Well, and I like the shout out for Exploding Kittens, a nice little card game. We enjoyed some of that last night after the game. We needed something to take our mind off this loss. Obviously, yesterday lineup comes out pre-match. No Driussi. I don't think we were too surprised that he wasn't starting. He was listed questionable after kind of a midweek downgrade. PhoenX, when you saw the lineup, obviously we have not seen a ton of rotation from Josh Wolf's side here. Felipe in for Driussi. I guess give me your overall takes on the lineup. Would you have made any changes? I mean, I know Ian and I, when we saw that, we're saying in between each other, why Felipe? So what was your take on the lineup?
Yeah, so first of all, before we go into the lineup, it's exactly what you said. There's no rotation in this 11. That's been a significant problem, and I think one of the contributing factors to why we're dropping points at this point in the season. I think I've come to a point where I've said the word point too many times and it's lost all meaning. At this stage in the season, there's no rotation. As much as I like Felipe, I don't think he is necessarily a 1-for-1 swap position-wise with Driussi. I think somebody that would have fit there a lot better is the fan favorites Diego Fagundes. He right there. I think he slots in perfectly. Then you open up a spot on the wing for, let's see, how many extra wingers do we have on this roster? But most importantly, a man who's trying to prove his worth to his nation to play in Qatar, who's been completely AFK.
Yeah.
And then also the new DP, who realistically has also been AFK.
Yeah.
Haven't seen much from Rigoni. I think he's been with the team for 3 weeks now and still comes on for 25 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's what makes it tough to get the full picture of just how in shape he is, just how much he's going to do, that being Emiliano Rigoni, just how much he's going to do for this club, because I think he's only played about 90 total minutes so far. And obviously, like you said, Phoenix in those short spurts to close out these last few games. Ian, why, I know the answer to this, but why do you feel like Felipe is just not the guy to put in right there, or at all? I know there's been a couple games recently where you're like, why is he in the game at all?
Yeah, I don't see much utility for him outside of when we have a lead and we need to protect it. I thought that our 11 last night was the least talented we have put on the pitch since you brought up Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I do think Seba needed rest, and I think that was important. And you know what, a silver lining from this is the yellow card situation with him, and we got that, and now we have 2 home games. And I mean, I keep saying ever since the Portland game, I need to see us respond. I need to see us. What are we going to do? How are we going to respond to this adversity? I mean, we're just in the weeds right now, and this is a part of a season that you have to be able to navigate. You have to be able to manage. And the players need to be able to manage it on an individual level, but it also has to be a collective. And we were frustrated last night. And that probably is the most concerning thing that I saw, was the frustration. Because, again, this was not a 3-0 loss. In Nashville, yes, outplayed, outclassed. We still had some moments. But just another tough game. And I don't know when the ship will be righted, but I know that there's been a lot of things that we've been doing intra-game that is promising, that looks nice.
Right.
But I totally agree. I don't understand the Felipe substitution. I don't understand it. with Rigoni there, there has to be some sort of creativity. And it just felt that with those three occupying the midfield, being Alex, Danny, Felipe, it was all defensive-minded, defensive presence, guys who are hesitant to put shots on net, guys who are hesitant, to make plays to score goals. It's maybe not that far, but more defensive-minded players. And I was worried from the start.
Phoenix, did you feel that frustration within the team as well? I think that did it maybe carry over from like Musa just exploding at the end of last game, and then it's just the same mood kind of within the team.
Yes, absolutely. I'll touch on that really briefly. Musa shouldn't have gotten a second yellow. That's ridiculous. That referee lost his head completely. He had no control over that game at the end. Musa shouldn't have gotten suspended. But yes, it definitely carried over frustration from that game. I mean, back-to-back 3-0 losses never sits well with teams. However, I would disagree with the fact that all three of them looked to be very defensive. Felipe had 5-6 different runs through the back line, completely unmarked, and the team avoided him. It seemed like there were 2 or 3 different times of those runs. It seemed like Fagundes took a player off outside, and then Maxi took one inside, and there was a gap, and Danny or Ring just didn't feed the ball, and they decided to go, like we normally do, to our fullbacks every time instead of feeding that through. In addition, I feel like at some points Felipe looked like he was playing as a number 9 with Maxi behind him.
Yes.
Why?
I know.
Has Felipe scored a goal with his foot, not his forehead?
Yeah.
There was one play that stuck out to, because I do know what you're talking about there, Phoenix, and there was one play that stuck out to me in particular, and I can't recall who has the ball, but Felipe is running parallel, and there's a defender in between, and he has to make some sort of decision where it's like, okay, I'm going to make a run, and then this ball will be played into me, or I'm going to like pull off and give this person an outlet, and I can hold up, and then we can make a different sort of play. I can go wide with it. But it ended up being, I believe, I want to say it was Danny, and Danny played him into the middle, and he couldn't get there. It wasn't a great ball by any sort of means, but it was because Felipe was running parallel with the ball at the same time. And it was just like, bro, you have to make some sort of effort to get up front, and he was up there often. Yeah. And I don't want to say that. I want to say that those players, I feel like, are more defensive inclined.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that.
And Felipe was way up, and I don't see the rationale behind it.
No, our passing was off all night yesterday. Yeah, it was nobody was coming for balls, sloppy passes. I remember vividly towards the end of the game once Romagna came on. He stood waiting for a ball to get there, and the 30-year-old Raul Ruidiaz beats him to the ball. I'm like, the average age of their front line is 29 years old. Jordan Morris, Raul Ruidiaz specifically, who aren't like young 29-year-olds, fresh in the league or fresh in the sport or whatever. Right. They've been here for 10 years. Yeah. Like, how are you going to let him beat you to that ball?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get into, I guess, some of those specific events. Obviously, the first goal came early, but Seattle was threatening before that, kind of right from the rip. 4th minute, I believe it was Albert Rusnak, who was deadly, I thought, this game on the wing, on the counterattack, running the break. He finds Ruidiaz from the left side, or Ruidiaz at the top of the 18, rather.
Yeah,
just
wide open.
Strikes it.
And I was just like, yo, how does that happen?
Yeah. And luckily, right at Brad Stuber, covers it up, and we were okay then. And then Austin like wasn't totally on the back foot. 9th minute, some good build up, nice touch on from Arruti, kind of again at the top of the box on the other end. Touches it on to Alex Ring, who he takes a strike, less velocity than that Ruidiaz shot, but right to Stefan Fry. But then after that, I think it's the next play, we cause a turnover in their
Danny wins the ball.
Danny steals it.
Yes.
Comes down the left side, 5-on-4, and just Phoenix, I want to throw it to you. Because I know we had audible frustration. We were not the only ones watching the game together yesterday. Again, like I said, we had a little cookout with some of our buddies. audible frustration from us with that hesitation. Ultimately, the shots blocked. How do you break down that play? I thought there was multiple options, whether it was shoot, pass, earlier, or wait. Like, he had so many options, that being Danny Pereira, and he didn't take any of them, it seemed like.
Fagundes was standing wide open at the penalty spot.
Correct.
Just lay the ball off to him.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Because Fagundes is going to hit that first time and just rocket it. Either at somebody, at the goalkeeper, over the crossbar, but he's just going to have a rip because that's what he can do. Danny sits there, holds onto it, and then I believe ends up just getting tackled and just losing the ball about the corner of the 6. And it's like that I think sums up.
Yeah, so he took a shot, it got blocked, and then I think it fell. I mean, it really had no chance because once he settled to take the shot, there's 3 defenders in front.
Yeah, it was completely innocuous. There was nothing that could have happened there yet.
But I think that definitely sums up our play is we're significantly indecisive. Mm-hmm. We don't know what we're going to do once we hit inside the 18.
Yeah. Well, Seba's the sword there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the one who makes the decision for us.
Which is a problem when you rely on a single individual to score your goals.
Yeah. Do we think that maybe last night coming in that Coach Wolf maybe was playing with a little bit of fool's gold because of how well it went with a similar lineup in Atlanta? Phoenix, I know you watched the post-game presser. Was any of that addressed? I don't want to just break into – I know you have some notes on what you watched post-game, but do you think that had something to do with the lineup decisions? Because obviously we did well without Seba in the first half against Atlanta, and it was kind of night and day against Seattle.
Not really. I mean, Josh Wolf does a wonderful job hearing a question, contemplating a different question, and then answering a question that he created. As if anybody that's watched the post-game presses throughout the season, even into last year, he answers whatever question he feels like he wants to answer, which is, as a PR stance, a great job.
He's a professional.
Job. Yeah. The one answer that he did give, which we'll just go briefly, which was actually when Danny Pereira came on. He was the player that came on. Mm-hmm. One of the people asking a question, I can't remember who it was, directly said, Josh Wolf said he wanted to start Valencia midweek to Danny. Like, what? Well, first of all, Wolf, why do you say that?
Yeah.
Keep that to yourself. But then at the same point, why do you tell the player who's going to be replaced that?
Yeah.
It creates some sort of headbutting in the locker room. And it was just odd. Not
to mention that, I mean, we'll get to the subs in the second half, but that's who came on for Danny Pereira. Mm-hmm. So, like, I the mental side of coaching is important. I think I'm with you there, Phoenix. Like, I don't know if that's the right play, if that's how it went down, right? So obviously after this break, Seattle, who was just counterattacking us to death all night, and we've seen that the last 3 games, right?
We got to give some roses out because they had some players who played exceptional.
Yeah,
I'll let you get back to it, but I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, let's into the goal here. Rusnak, again, coming from the right side this time, crosses it in. Pereira actually gets a foot to it, kind of deflects the pass, but it drops right to Ladero. And then he picks out Rui Diaz. So, Ian, talk to me about the Seattle side of things there. And then Phoenix, maybe talk to me about what you think Austin could have done better to defend that. Because, I mean, it was a tap-in for Rui Diaz. Great pass by Ladero. And it was far from his only great pass on the night.
He was spectacular. For me, he was probably the player of the match. The things that he did, the avenues that he opened up, the balls that he played, the chances he created, just all fantastic. That goal does not happen if that ball doesn't get touched. Mm-hmm. That ball, it got deflected, and it was a good bounce. And you know what? The last 3 games we've played, the good bounces have gone to the other side. Mm-hmm. And that's just how it goes. You know, I mean, like, and that's just how it goes. And that's why you have to be so resolute with what you do well. And that's why, to me, the Felipe sub just really doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I'm not going to keep coming back to it and harping on it too much. But the deflection there changes the entire course of the game. Mm-hmm. It does. The ball gets tipped. It's a very advantageous bounce, and it goes to one of the greatest finishers we have in the game. You know, and that's
in the league for sure. Yeah,
that's a layup. That's a layup.
Yeah, tap in for him. I mean, it's like finishing an alley-oop essentially.
Exactly, and there's nothing Brad can do there, and it changes the entire course of the game. And I know that we've been the comeback kids. I know we've been the cardiac kids, but we have seen when we do not score that first goal,
we've been struggling.
It's tough. And, and like that shouldn't be some sort of come to kind of moment. We know it's tough. You're down 1-0 on the road. Like, that's bad.
Especially up in Seattle at Lumen Field or CenturyLink, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever it's called these days.
Whatever it's called now. It's the atmosphere. That's the other thing. I'll give Seattle credit, as much as I hate to do, both in the NFL and both in MLS. The atmosphere is great. The atmosphere, it's bad. Yeah, we don't do well.
I also didn't understand the kit choice
from Seattle. The isn't that their
we go lime green.
Oh, the mint kit up there.
No, it wasn't mint. We were like the neon.
Bro, that's the color on my TV. Stop hating.
Oh,
that's our. We only have two jerseys.
That's the Cool Verde kit. Yeah, that's our away kit.
Well, dang, dude.
I think Zach, I think you got to fix your. Yeah.
That was the mint
out. Me.
It looked electric on the
nope.
Well,
that was the
so
kit.
Phoenix. Obviously, well played by Seattle with the bounce that they did get, but I know there was some people on Twitter. I'll shout out Kevin Morris, who is one of, I think, the best follows if you're an Austin FC fan. I think he was pointing out Julio's poor positioning there. What did you see from Julio and anybody else that could have helped prevent that first goal?
Julio's poor positioning. The first goal, I'm looking at it. Gabroson's got Ladero kind of in a good position. Ring doesn't have a great position. I believe that was on Rui Diaz, is where he was kind of coming into the 18 behind him. Lima's got, I think it was either Rusnag or Morris, the other winger. Relatively closed off. He's way back in the back. He's not going to involve in this.
Right.
Cascante looks like he's marking the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
He's marking nowhere.
Yeah.
The ball goes past him like normal. And I feel like you guys touched on it last week. I feel like it comes down to him not listening to his center back partner.
Sure.
Ruben is not pleased with him.
No, I wouldn't be either.
Yeah.
I played where Ruben has played with
Sure.
center backs that don't listen. You want to punch him in the mouth every time.
Man, and Alex Ring too, after the goal, I think maybe he didn't get to Rui Diaz quick enough because he thought Julio was going to or supposed to be there. You see him make a motion towards Julio as that goal goes in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's as much as I don't like to pin things on singular players or singular instances, referees, whatever it is, I don't think we can continually win games or contest for games with Cascante playing the way he is right now.
Right.
I'm not saying that he himself needs to go.
Right.
Sit him on the bench for a week.
Right. Or
Kip
even 70 minutes. Right.
Yes. Sit him on the bench to start a game. Kip Keller.
Yes.
Where has he been, man?
He played 80 minutes, 90 minutes, something like that, and gone. Charlo Asensio, I think, shouldn't have gone out on loan. I think he should have stayed with the club, but that's a different story.
Sure.
Romagna, again, played more, but you got to just make some rotation there.
So while we're talking about this, because Ian and I have conversed about this, I think on multiple pods already, where it's just like, let's get some fresh legs in there. Like we've built up this buffer, which is shrinking
What buffer?
at a crazy rate.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's not a thing anymore.
So, and obviously we're only audio, but we can see each other here as we record. And I see you. You said Kip Keller with your hands out like this. And Ian has seen me do this at least once every 2 weeks, wondering where Kip is. My take on the center backs is I think obviously Kip Keller, or maybe it's not obvious. This is just what I think. Kip Keller is the future of this back line.
Yes.
And Johan Romagna is not. And he's still very young and could develop into a much better player and continue to improve. But I don't understand why we have not seen any minutes for Kip in what feels like months.
He hasn't even been active.
Yeah, he hasn't even been
on a roster.
team.
And listen to me. All right, first F word of the night. There's no fucking way Romagna is better than Kip.
Yeah.
It's not possible. I don't understand why we want to get that sort of development with him when it's like clear, like dude.
Well, it would be different too if we had the next pro team already, right?
Yeah.
But we don't. So how are we going to get him minutes? We didn't loan him out. He's nowhere.
You've been calling for it for a very long time. And honestly, it would be incredibly beneficial to have him get meaningful minutes going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, because what if he gets forced into minutes?
There's no sort. I mean, like Ruben, stalwart.
Yeah.
One of our most important players. Julio, at this point, it's interchangeable to me. Like it's been too long now. It's
the way he's right. If he gets back to the form he had for the first 20 games of the season, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But it's, again, just like with the MVP race, right? It's a what have you done for me lately? And I think we've had enough poor games out of Julio over the last 10 or so to where it's a trend now. We're not just being reactionary.
I just took a look. Sorry to cut you off. I just took a look at Keller's minutes for this season.
Yeah.
He's played 318.
Mm-hmm.
Is that shocking to either of you guys? That he's played that many?
Yeah,
I feel like it should be about 180.
It was, I mean, he got it like 160 in those first 2 games, right? Something like that.
Yeah, he played, here, let me see. I can actually go match logs. Let's see. 60, so the Open Cup game, fine.
Oh, is it counting the Open Cup game or no?
Yeah, wait, he had 2 minutes in one of the Open Cup games, so probably not. 65 minutes in the Cincinnati game, 54 minutes in the Miami game, 72 minutes in the San Antonio game, where we lost.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
Oh, we were there.
Phoenix, that is the only road game Ian and I have been to.
Oh, no. It's fine. The only road games I've been to is Portland twice and Seattle.
Yeah, so we have no goals in either of those stadiums yet in 4 games.
Nope.
No.
Maybe it's all 3 of us. Maybe we're the
I think we're the curse. 70 minutes against Orlando, 14 minutes against LA, 40 minutes against why am I completely blanking on this name? Columbus Crew, I think. And then 75 minutes against Colorado.
Well, we had, I mean, and he played so much against Orlando because that was the game Ruben was sick, right? He came out like really early.
Yes. Yeah, that was the stomach bug, I think.
Yeah.
That he had.
And he was fine.
He was good.
At worst, he was fine. Right?
And he was paired with Cascante.
Exactly.
Imagine if he was paired with Ruben instead.
Yeah. Hey, I feel you. And this was impromptu Kip Keller talk. I'm all for. So I'm glad we're all on the same page there. Because really, there's a gap here in my notes where I didn't feel like there was much. I just kind of summed it up. We already said it. A lot of sloppy passing in the first half, particularly between that first goal and the second, which comes in the 34th minute. Raul Ruiz-Diaz brace assisted by Jordan Morris. It was actually a really nice build-up out of the back by the Sounders. What's that?
Jordan played great.
Yeah, I mean their entire attack I thought had a really good game last night.
Professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. Build out of the back down the right side. The through ball to Morris was from Rusnak. Again, it's these 3 players combining for pretty much all of their dangerous chances. And Morris, just to be honest, man, we've seen Ruben Gabrielson get into some foot races this year where we've been impressed with his speed. But he got dusted by Jordan Morris right there. And then Raul Ruiz-Diaz sprints right past Julio. Morris finds him. Another tap in. I mean, it's they're throwing alley-oops on us throughout the first half, essentially.
Yep.
So, Ian, when you saw that goal go in, obviously, like you said, we've had plenty of comebacks. I mean, we've been a historic team when it comes to coming back from down 2-0 this season, right? 2 comebacks after the 65th minute, I believe, which is an MLS record, and 3 total from being down 2-0, adding in that Colorado win on the road. But when that ball goes in, what were your thoughts outside of, a bunch of expletives?
It's been fool's gold, and I've said it's fool's gold for a long time. You can't just keep digging yourself these kind of holes and expecting to get out of it, especially with no Seba.
Right.
Ruiz-Diaz just, dude, he knows how to score.
Yep.
He knows where to be. He knows how to read the play. He knows the action, and he played great. And Jordan played great too. The that combination with Ladero just really gave us some nightmares. And their counterattack play was fantastic. That we've been scouted at this point.
Right.
Yes.
And that's kind of a larger it's kind of a larger point I wanted to bring up now to discuss amongst the three of us is that, like we said, we kind of saw it against LAFC. They just weren't able to convert any of their counterattack chances, at least until the game was already out of hand. Portland scoring on counterattacks and set pieces we've been struggling on a little bit, at least that kind of, like you said, the second phase ball, I think is what Coach Wolf called it, kind of those rebound chances for the other teams. But then obviously Nashville and Seattle killing us on the break. Phoenix, what do you think needs to be done to shift things within the team? Because it does seem like the scouting report is going around the league, and in particularly the Western Conference. So is there anything that you see that really stands out in terms of tactical changes, maybe on the back line, that outside of starting Kip Keller, right? What do you see there?
I mean, first of all, I'm surprised it's taken to September to figure us out. They've been pretty predictable all season.
Sure.
But I think this is one of the hot takes that I've been talking about. This is the one that I've been yelled at for before.
Say it.
Quit the 4-back. We need a European 5-back.
Okay.
I know it's a lot easier said than done, but just picture this. You guys and everybody listening, Stuver in goal, obviously. John Gallagher on one side, Romagna, we'll go Romagna, Gabrielson, Cascante, Lima on the other, with Danny and Ring in midfield, and then a front three, Fagundes, Maxi, and Driussi doing whatever they want to. What if they want to play all central? Cool. If they want to play all wide, cool. Whatever it is, because that, like we just said, we get beat on counterattacks. If 2 guys back doesn't work, try 3. If that doesn't work, try 4.
So 5-2-3.
Yeah, 5-2-3. You could call it a 3-4-3 if you want to enlist Gallagher and Lima as midfielders, kind of like what Chelsea does. Something like that. It's just get some movement along that back line.
What do you do then when Rigoni is ready to play 90? Who steps out of the lineup, or does it become a constant rotation if we were to change formation?
I mean, I think a constant rotation is key. The other option you could do is pull Romagna out, push Ring back, bring Ring back to the back line, as much as he doesn't like that. Oh, well, deal with it. That's where Coach wants you to play. That's where you're going to play. And then bring Fagundes back to the middle. And then you can have and then you up front, you can have Rigoni, Driussi, and Maxi kind of, again, doing whatever they really want to up top.
Sure. And we saw Alex Ring play. We saw Alex Ring play a game at center back last year, I believe, and he was not bad.
No, he's so small, though.
Yeah.
True, but when you surround him with Gabrielson and Cascante,
you've got the size back there. I mean, I think what's clear, right? Maybe none of us have the exact answer that's going to fix everything, but there has to be some change. I don't think at this point this is just like, we've had some bad bounces, we've had some bad breaks, but again, it's a pattern now where if teams continue to get these breaks, they're putting themselves in positions to benefit from those 50-50 balls falling to their feet, and we have fallen out of that pattern ourselves. So I mean, and we know whether you're Josh Wolf or you're Greg Berhalter, those types of coaches are very stubborn in their ways. So none of us are probably super convinced that or I guess we wouldn't say that it's likely to see any changes like that. But I do think that's certainly an interesting tactical change or suggestion there.
One easier tactical change. Stop playing the ball at the back. Just boot the ball up forward.
Yeah.
It
does seem like they could pick their spots better when they do play it, because we've seen some really great, not just plays, but goals scored from playing out of the back.
Yes.
But we've also lost games by playing that way.
I think we've seen more failures than successes from that, at least directly from the back line.
Sure.
You know, even if you boot the ball up and you get to Ring and that doesn't work, and then you can play it back and play it around. But specifically against Seattle, and specifically recently, we can't play it around the back easily, is they have
Sure.
3 guys on our back line the entire game.
Sure. Well, and you have to be, especially at the center back position, playing in this system, you have to be good with your feet. You have to be comfortable with the ball and be able to distribute it. And you know who played midfield or some in college? Kip Keller. I don't know. Maybe he can do something with the ball at his feet and distribute maybe just as well as Julio. Again, we're not taking away, I don't think, from what Julio has put together this season as a whole. But again, it's trying to shore this thing up. So again, the goal is the 2 seed still, but at this point, it's playoffs. Like I think we don't want to back into the playoffs, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No.
We want to win that spot.
2 home games here coming up. This will be what defines our season.
Yeah, I agree, especially with that international break coming up after this.
Where we finish up, this is going to be a big week.
Well, so jumping back in here, obviously after the Ruidas brace, Austin gets very close to entering this game and getting on the scoreboard. Maxi wins a free kick outside the 18. And honestly, the break that led to that, I thought was just kind of another disjointed break that just kind of stuttered to a halt, and Maxi won the free kick and got something out of it. Diego takes it, hits it right into the wall, but gets the rebound, fires it back in. It kind of gets deflected back out, falls to Johnny Galler, who touches it onto Ruben, and he kind of one touch lofts it to the right side of the 6-yard box. Finley one-times it to Julio, who puts it just wide of the post. And if he is on target there, Stephen Fry was diving the wrong direction. If he puts it just inside the post, that's a goal there. So Ian, I know there was again, audible groan from our watch party. PhoenX, does Julio have to do better there? Or does he get a pass?
If your center back makes that, he makes it, you feel good about it.
And he's been good. He's scored this year. He's assisted this year.
Yeah.
Phoenix, are you in lockstep there?
Yeah, it's cool. If he scores a goal, awesome. Put this back into it. If he doesn't, it's a center back. What do you expect? Yeah. It's not a striker.
Right.
It would have been nice. It would have been really fucking
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So again, not a ton honestly happens between then and then 58th minute yellow card to Alex Roldan for time wasting on a throw-in. That was, I think, maybe the earliest time wasting yellow card I've seen given out, certainly this season for Austin FC.
No, he was going crazy, bro. He took so long.
Oh, I'm not saying it shouldn't have been given. I'm just saying it was early for that. 58th.
Inside 60 minutes to start time wasting.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Pacific Northwest teams are atrocious at it. Portland did it last season. Portland did it this season already. Seattle does it. They're all. I have some words that I probably shouldn't say on here that get yelled at some of those players. That do time waste.
I think the pinnacle of time wasting that I've seen, again, because been an MLS fan really for the last 18 months or so, but against San Jose at home last year, where I think it was maybe Christian Espinoza who was on the field. I think Julio rolled him off the field and he rolled back on. So it wasn't that egregious, but early yellow card for Roldan. Then we see a trio of subs in the 61st minute for the Verde. Rugoni comes on for Ethan Finley, Johan Valencia on for Danny Pereira, as Coach Wolf warned him. And then Owen Wolf comes on for Felipe. Johan Valencia wastes no time, 6 minutes on the pitch, picks up another yellow, now suspended for the RSL game on Wednesday. Phoenix, any takes on those subs? I think me personally, I felt fine with all 3.
Wolf's the only one that I've recently been opposed to.
Yeah. Dude, he's been bad lately, right?
Yeah, and is that because he is bad? Or is that because he is 17 years old?
Right.
And is getting thrust into really bad situations?
Yeah.
I don't know. Another fun fact, I don't think it's actually very fun. It's actually a very depressing fact. We have not gotten a single point since Rugoni came into the squad.
Oh, boy.
That's
which
true.
is also the exact same time that Washington Carrozza exited the squad.
Has he not been?
Game.
He's a complete.
Washington Carrozza has not even made an appearance on the bench since we beat LAFC. And Rugoni's taken his spot there.
I mean, I will gladly take the fall, the blame here for what's going on. Of again, us meeting those two guys, us stepping on the pitch for the first time to take that picture with John and Jared. But yeah, I mean, it's probably more realistic that maybe something's going on there. Again, not maybe in terms of the results, but we've seen Coach Wolf be a little bit dodgy when asked about Manchita and what's going on with him.
He gave some answer yesterday.
Oh, did he?
Actually.
Okay.
Yep. He said, quote, doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's still at, quote, a good place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he's in a good place, but he also, quote, gotta compete like everyone else to get minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave an answer without giving an answer.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess at least it's not like we're not seeing Rodney Redis on the bench over Washington Caruso. Like, but at least both of them are like, then I would have some real concern.
Did you see what Redis posted on Instagram last night?
I did
during
not.
the game.
Oh
my guy's sitting in Zilker Park.
Oh, they left him.
Yeah,
and he's not even watching the game.
He wasn't watching the game.
Oh,
he was sitting. It was either Zilker Park, one of those downtown, right where you watch the sky.
He's fucking.
He's sitting there on Instagram. Like, bro, at least have somebody else take a picture of you looking at your phone, like you're watching the game at Zilker Park.
Wearing a green
brain.
Yeah, wearing a green shirt.
Green shirt.
Oh man.
No, we were sitting at the post game thing yesterday, and one of the people that was sitting next to us replied to his story, just said, "Bye." Like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, enjoy South America again, because you're not staying here.
I'm going back home, man. So right after the Valencia yellow card, I believe the yellow card actually leads to this free kick.
Yeah. How bad is he?
Who, Valencia?
Yeah.
So
we've gotten nothing from him.
In Phoenix again,
how is he suspended?
He's just this is part of it. This is part of, or at least my theory on Johan Valencia. I think it's a league to league type of thing. I think he's a little bit too physical for his position compared to what the MLS officiating crews are used to, or how they call these games. Because he hasn't appeared in that many games and he's already suspended. Phoenix, do you kind of agree with that take? Again, you watch more international soccer than Ian or I.
Yes, absolutely. Johan Valencia, he's a physical 6.
Yeah.
I mean, even I think Musa Gite, and I think that's why I don't think he should have gotten a yellow card for that last week. Is
you don't think he should have got 2 cards for that?
No.
Bro,
no.
He spiked the ball, almost headbutt.
Spiked the ball, yes. Yeah. But at the same time, if you watch it back, Shaq Moore gets up in his face first.
No, he did. And then he
puts his arm here.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Also, Musa Gite's hands are massive.
I thought he was
gonna wrap around anything. So if he puts it on his shoulder, it's gonna look like that. And then yes, okay, he yells at the ref. Ref is gonna give him a yellow card for fighting Shaq Moore anyway. The MLS doesn't like that aggressive play that Gite
that type of confrontation
in France.
Yeah.
Even his play style. I mean, that guy's a brick.
I mean, we call him the body.
Yeah.
He will body somebody out of position, and the MLS doesn't like it. Valencia's the same way.
Yeah.
That specific tackle, he clipped both of his feet. But just his other yellow cards have been.
Some have been soft, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So free kick comes in after that foul from the left side, and the ball just goes off Ruben's back and past Stuver. I don't think there's much you could do there. I'm a Nuhu fan, but like the way he came up to Ruben and like patted him on the back and like pointed at him, basically, like, kind of rubbing it in his face, the misfortune in his face. That's it would take a lot for me if I was in Ruben's position not to just shove him. Like he did to Daniel Shallowy when SKC came to Austin. So I mean, again, that's an unlucky bounce that goes against Austin FC. And at that point, the game is pretty much gone. Romagna comes on for Julio 5 minutes later. Seattle starts bringing in the reinforcements, Kellen Rowe, Freddie Montero in for Morris, and Atencio. Atencio, young player who I thought also played really well, was a threat on the offensive end. 83rd minute, we see these flashes from Emiliano Rigoni where you can just see the raw talent and again, overusing the word threat maybe, but the threat he brings and the threats that he can create with that talent, brings down a crossing ball on the right wing, kind of pushes it out to his left foot and crosses to the far post where Diego is wide open and
It's the best ball of the game for us.
Yeah, and puts it wide. And he also had Maxi Urruti kind of standing to the right side where he could have laid it off to him. So certainly a disappointing attempt there by Diego, but I was pleased to see Rigoni continuing to be dangerous from that right side. Yeah. What do you think? We'll get to our lineup predictions for Wednesday here in a minute, but Phoenix, have you been surprised? Because obviously, I think both Ian and I, the last 3 podcasts, have said Rigoni starting next game. He's got to start this game. He's got to. Have you been surprised that he hasn't been in the 11 yet?
No.
Is that purely
it's not because of him,
right?
It's Wolf, because
right?
Wolf.
Okay.
I said it in one of the Twitter spaces. I think it was the Twitter space. I said it somewhere. Wolf doesn't know what to do with this team.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, the fact that his kid's playing 17-year-old instead of. I mean, that's a prime position, right? For if Fagundes is there instead of Felipe to start the game, right? You pull off Finley, you push Felipe or you push Fagundes out wide, and then you bring on Felipe and just avoid Owen Wolf completely.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, he even said one of the questions that Wolf was asked with the replacement to Driussi is who else was considered.
Yeah, said he thought about Owen, right?
He thought about, and he was gonna go with Owen, and then Felipe, and then he decided on Felipe. How was Owen Wolf the replacement for Driussi?
Right. Well, and so this is something I wanted to kind of bring up here because kind of that center midfield role is his natural position, right? That's what he was playing with the academy.
Yes.
But I think his best games have come on the wing for us, right? He's looked more hesitant and indecisive when he's been in the midfield over the last few games. Do you think? I mean, again, we have no shortage of wingers right now, so I guess we can't really put him back out there. But what do either of you, Ian? I guess I'll start with you. Do you think there's what's the reason for him seemingly performing worse at his natural position?
I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of wall. Being 17, just hitting a wall in the MLS there. He did not look good last night. He hasn't looked good in a few matches here. Yeah. He missed a wide open pass to Maxi that could have resulted in a goal. And he really just, I don't know. I don't know why there's been this sort of, it's been a cliff. But this wasn't some sort of gradual, he hasn't looked good. It's been a cliff. Right. And it becomes more frustrating with Manchita available, but not available. And Rigoni in this sort of flux situation where we can't get him more than 30. We can't get this man more than 32 minutes. We have too many good players where we can't allow him to play more than 32. No, that's not a problem we have.
As a DP as well? Really?
Yeah. Right.
Why not just disguise that Finley's the DP now?
Right.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, to close out this game, right after that nice, the great chance that they had to put one on the board coming home late in the match, Sebastian Driussi comes on for Urruti in the 84th minute. We were saying the whole night, he has to come on no matter what. We could be down 10-0, and he has to step foot on the field because playing 1 second in last night's game without a yellow card took him down to 3 yellows. So Valencia suspended on Wednesday, yellow card accumulation. Driussi back down to 3 yellows. 88th minute, another trio of Seattle subs to close out the match. Nothing really notable after that. What I thought was notable, and again, we've said multiple times in the last couple of weeks after these disappointing results that on the watching the replay, watching it back the next day, it's hasn't been as bad as it felt watching it live. looking at the XG, which obviously, Ian, you and I have a love-hate relationship with XG. We love it when it says, it confirms what we think, and hate it when it doesn't. XG last night, 1.21 for Austin FC, 1.07 for Seattle. So XG had Austin, supposed to win that game. 10 shots for Austin, 2 big chances, obviously both missed. Only 5 shots for Seattle, 2 big chances, both converted. Surprised about that XG number?
I mean, yeah, we only had 1 shot on goal.
So,
I
1.21 expected goals. Pretty wild. I mean, it shows how poor we were in putting the ball on net, right?
I mean, I guess when you miss a shot from 3 feet away, your expected goals go up, but your shots on goal do not. It's tough. I want to keep having these positive sentiments about the game because it's not as bad as it feels.
Yeah.
Yes. And in the moment, for sure. And again, we've done a lot of really positive things. They played well. They played a good game.
Mm-hmm.
They knew how to play us. They countered us very well. Like I said, I keep bringing it back to Ladero, his impact on the game. He just created so many chances for them. 1 bad ball here or there, and we missed the goal from 3 feet away.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm not too shocked to see that. I'm not going to go out and say that we outplayed them. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that we deserved 3 points there. I'm not going to say that we deserved even a point.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we got to secure this playoff spot.
Yep, that's the first.
We got 2 important games here coming back at home.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, however Wolf wants to frame that, I don't think he was packing it in. But when Seba is not in the lineup, it impacts the other 10 players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, for sure. So, I'm not shocked by that number. I don't know how much that number means to me anymore.
Sure.
It's just a way for me to be less upset when we're down 2-0.
Right.
During FIFA.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's there to shove some thought into your head to make you think that you're doing better or worse than you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with your what did we deserve from this game, we deserve to go on the road in playoffs.
Yeah.
We don't deserve to host a game.
Not with the way we've been playing. That's for
After the last 3, it's hard.
I'd much rather be embarrassed on the road than at home.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this, and as we kind of transition out of the Seattle game, looking ahead to Wednesday night's match, there's still there's only 4 games left, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is a lot of time. Almost a full calendar month left in the regular season. Again, we're going to have this international break coming up after the rematch with Nashville this coming Saturday. So there's a lot of time for the sentiment to shift back toward, hey, we're looking forward to a do or die playoff game, no matter where it is, right? And again, it's always, we come back to perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us were maybe thinking we were being a little bit too positive at the beginning of the season, saying, hey, we could get the 5th, 6th, 7th seed in the playoffs. That's within reach. And now we're all going to be furious if we don't finish with the 2nd seed, I think. And
oh my gosh,
if we don't, it's gonna feel pretty bad. But again, I think if we're hosting a home playoff game, the season would be considered a massive success just from the wide view. The last thing I wanted to touch on before RSL, the long throws. And I think Vanilla Mexican said something about this on Twitter last night, and we've been saying it for the last couple of weeks, maybe just privately, but certainly in the stands against Portland, we were talking about it. These long throws seem to be fully scouted now.
Yes,
and it's not that we can't still get good chances off of them, but if there's 5 guys marking Julio and Ruben there at the edge of the 18 or the edge of the 6, wherever they're standing, it's like, can we try something else once in a while?
I don't.
PhoenX says,
I don't want to.
You don't want to try anything else?
No, I don't. I still want to do our long throw. It's part of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, we feel like we have an advantage
mm-hmm.
with that. Nick does it really well. I don't think Sonny should be doing it.
Sure.
because he can't get it in there.
Yeah.
No.
It's tougher for John too. Like,
it is tougher for John as well.
It's
But
Lima's
what's going
sweet
to happen?
spot.
Like, we're gonna control the ball. We're gonna move it back,
yeah.
get it to the middle, hold up play.
Yeah.
Get some runs in. I don't know. They know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's better.
Yeah. I mean, they have to throw some sort of wrinkle in, right, Phoenix? Like, it's just we haven't been threatening off those, and that was a big piece of our offense in the first half of the season.
I'm going to say no for a different reason.
Okay.
Not because they're what we do, because Josh Wolf won't change it. That's why. Because the plan that we've heard in multiple different post-game press conferences stuff, the plan doesn't get thrown out.
Yeah.
Why not? We've lost 3 in a row. Throw the plan out the window while you're coming home from Seattle. Throw it out the plane.
Leave it in Seattle.
Never find it. Never find it again because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And yes, okay. So if we end up if we don't do the long throw in, maybe something else comes of it. You know, it's like there's only the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten scouted.
You know what that is also the definition of? Practice. I used to be a college basketball coach. That's
okay. Okay. Fair enough.
You're not wrong, man. Like maybe we don't again, because like you said, Wolf is not going to deviate from he's not going to throw the plan out, but there needs to be some tweaks.
Yes, 100%.
And what those are, again, I was a basketball coach, not a soccer coach, so I'll leave that to the soccer coaches and hopefully see a better result on Wednesday. RSL coming to town last season. One of those teams we only saw twice. 1-0 loss on the road. Bobby Wood goal, I believe he had a newborn after that goal, goes and kisses his newborn. Shortly after that, Julio Cascante, red card. So a 1-0 loss there on the road. Then a 2-1 win at home. Our old number 10 with a brace in that one. But what stood out to me from that game that I remembered, Driussi, pass of the year to start that second goal, which was assisted by Diego Fagundes. Phoenix, I don't know if you remember that pass, kind of camera side of the field, going towards the south end with the supporters. That was the moment when I knew Driussi was something special.
Yes, that was the Rabona pass, wasn't it?
Last year, yeah. One thing.
Rabona?
Well, last year, not the one from LAFC
not the one
this year, but
last year's one.
Yeah.
One thing that I just looked at, Bobby Wood's apparently injured as well.
Interesting.
At least as what it says right now. So maybe their game plan's a little off whack because of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, RSL currently sitting in that last playoff position, 43 points. LA Galaxy in the 8th position with a game in hand, 3 points back. So it could come down to they both are sitting on 11 wins. So Galaxy with a win could surpass them. RSL, not the best form, certainly better than Austin FC. If you look at the standings right now, LAFC and Austin FC both 3 points from their last 5. So neither team heading into this stretch run looking great. RSL 1 win, 1 loss, 3 draws in their last 5. Again, sitting on 43 points here. Played them once already this season. Up there, May 14th, 2-1 loss. Austin FC went up first. Goal from Alex Ring. Tough angle, too, on the left side of the goal. Remember that one. And then for the second straight year at Rio Tinto, red card this time for Danny Pereira. And then Chang and Brody goals. The Brody goal, I believe, in like the 88th minute, just gut-wrenching 2-1 loss up there earlier this year. So hopefully Austin FC can at least pull a point here. But 3 to clinch that playoff berth obviously would be, the whole stadium would be electric, I think, knowing that we had fun. Get this weight off our shoulders, because
we should win this game. It's still like
a 99% chance, I believe, that Austin FC makes the playoffs. But again, we don't want to back into it.
No.
And I think there's maybe people who aren't sitting here staring at 538, playoff chances like us. Just you're more casual fan, maybe thinking, hey, like it's possible that we're not going to make the playoffs. And I think that tension is really going to show up in the stadium on Wednesday night. let's say, like we do always here, lineup predictions, whether what you think we're going to see, what you want to see. Phoenix, I'll throw it to you first. Is this the game we see Rigoni start?
I know y'all say it every time, but
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah.
Rigoni should start. He won't, but he should. I wouldn't be surprised if we go with the same 11, flip-flop Driussi and Felipe from yesterday in Seattle. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we go with the regular 11, unfortunately. The one thing that I do hope is that Carozzo and Rigoni get playing time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why not. I don't see why either of them don't.
Yeah.
The other dangerous part of the rest of the season, Maxi and Danny also currently sitting on 4 yellow cards. So both of them are 1 yellow card away. So Danny could end the night with the same fate as last time with that game suspension afterwards.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
I don't know what their good behavior status is, either of them.
I think Danny's only on a game because I think he picked one up against Nashville. Well, I know because Danny has already had his yellow card suspension. He's sitting on 2. It's that third yellow card that will give him that extra suspension and an additional fine. Which by MLS standards I think is like $500, but not nothing. It's not nothing.
No, that's something.
Yeah.
So Danny's last yellow card was Portland.
Okay, gotcha. Portland. So he's got 2 games of good behavior now.
Yes.
He's been good. He's been on his best behavior.
Yep.
Yeah.
for 2 games.
Yeah, for 180 minutes or 150, whatever.
150, something like that. Yeah.
E, lineup predictions, lineup desires. I think Rigoni is a given.
Yeah, my desires. At this point, I just have to understand that Josh is going to do it how he's going to do it, and we are going to play the guys he's comfortable with, the guys he feels are the best fit for the system that he runs. So I think we've returned to our form with Seba, and for me, it's a must-win game. We're better than this team. We're coming home,
especially on the road. I mean, they're outside of the elevation of Salt Lake.
We're better than this team, and we're on a skid, and we have to, like we said, we can keep pulling out these little caveats and points where it's like, oh, this looked good, or yeah, we did this well. Well, we missed the goal with a center back, and he just missed it, and he shouldn't capitalize that at some point. And the same thing with Rigoni. Oh yeah, he looks great. The chances are fantastic. They're coming in. At some point, there needs to be a result with it.
Right.
So I do think we revert back to the lineup we saw for 7 weeks?
Yeah, 6 or 7 games in a row.
So I think that's coming. And when we get in some match prediction, Lord knows.
I know you're predicting a win. So we'll see just by how much. RSL 3, 5, and 7 on the road this year. Only 14 points from those 15 road matches. Negative 11 goal differential again. Not as drastic a difference as like a Colorado Rapids, another team that benefits from the high elevation at their home park, but RSL is certainly not the same type of squad away from home. Prediction time. E, we'll start with you. The good vibes, let them flow. What's the score on Wednesday?
You know what? It just came to me.
Okay.
3-1.
3-1. Nice and easy.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing to say about it. 3-1.
I like it.
FC dub.
Phoenix.
It's gonna hurt me to say this. 2-2 draw.
Oh,
I don't know. Unless I see something, I don't think that our form flips that quickly. I think our next win comes against Nashville.
Okay. Well, and I would love that. I am ready to go.
Them one. We owe them on the field. I'm excited to see how. I'm excited to see
their fans.
If they're
Oh boy, spit on Mike.
I'll give another prediction for the Nashville game. Hat trick for the real MVP.
Let's fucking go. Phoenix.
I know. Y'all were talking some trash on the MVP race.
Yeah.
Mukhtar's not it. Mukhtar's not the MVP. Let's clear this up here.
Hey,
Mukhtar's not the MVP.
State the case.
Mukhtar's not the MVP. just because somebody takes all of your free kicks, all of your corners, is involved in every single one of your goals, does not mean that he's an MVP. Mukhtar plays in the attacking third constantly. He is a tap-in merchant. Driussi has to link up the play because Danny and Alex Ring sit back. He has to. I heard so many Nashville fans being like, yeah, but Mukhtar is involved in more goals. I'm like, right, because he doesn't have the ball at his feet for 90
minutes. I think
minutes.
Key passes was the stat being thrown around as kind of the champion of their case there.
Did you see the spice on Twitter there, Phoenix?
Which one?
That ZG got into with some Nashville.
I don't think so.
Oh, it was. I was going back and forth with I believe his name is Wes Bowling, is the radio announcer for Nashville.
Oh, okay.
We had a little back and forth. He actually DM'd me after with some kind words. So
there you go. That's what you like to see.
It was fun, but then of course the other Nashville fans came in with not so informed takes.
Yes,
and I am ready to go on a quote tweet rampage.
I'll join you on that. Tag me in some of those, and I'll do it. Because a lot of what I heard was goal and assists, goal and assists, goal and assists. I'm like, okay, great. Yeah. Yours is an attacking midfield. Yours plays up front. Ours doesn't.
We posted
great job.
We posted some defensive comparisons between the two, the statistics of whether it's blocks, all that type of stuff.
I went through and looked on the MLS website and compiled a list of everything. And I was like, really? Is this what I'm spending my time doing?
Yeah.
Nashville fan, get out of here. Not worth my time anymore.
Hey man, Twitter, it's amazing that app is free, but you also have to remind yourself sometimes that it's pretty much the equivalent of reading and responding to people who write on the bathroom wall. So
I was going to say that at mugshots.
I think writing on the bathroom walls is better than Twitter.
Yeah. Hey, R.I.P. Mugshots here in Austin.
Yeah.
So E says 3-1 Austin. Phoenix said 2-2 draw. I guess before I make my prediction, Phoenix, is that a 2-2 comeback, save a point, or are we dropping a result after being up?
I think.
Really making you lay out your game script here.
Yeah, you really are. God. Neither. How about that? How about it's neither? Okay. How about it is legitimately an even game. Shots even, gameplays even. Nobody can find. It's back and forth. It's one of those that you're like, it seems like a fair result. I mean, would have been great if we got 3, but I'm okay with 1. But not, and also not one of those. We should have had 3. I'm not okay with a single point. It's fair game.
I hear you. All right. Well, I'm gonna go 2-0 clean sheet for Brad Stuver. Austin FC getting back on track in a big way. I'm gonna say Driussi and Rigoni start together and combine for a goal. So again, maybe just wishful thinking. Maybe I'm still just trying to put those positive Verde vibes out there. But
how sweet is that first connection going to taste?
Okay.
Very good.
My God, it's going to be so nice.
So you're saying first clean sheet for Stu since the 30th of July.
And that was a road match? SKC.
Yes, sir.
And we were up, man.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's been a long time since we got one, but
Phoenix
Wednesday.
Doing to you what you do to me.
Right.
When I make a prediction, it's like, hey man, here's this stuff.
Here's a stat. And why you're wrong.
Here's another
any sort of attention to.
Stu's also led in 16 goals since that game.
Oh God. Well, what was the Chris Bills put out the thing, right? It's really like Julio's led in 6 goals, Stuver 5, nobody's fault on 2, which is now 3 because I think
Ruben's got a back goal now.
Well, that's what I said. That probably falls into the nobody's fault category.
Yes. He's marking his guy. You don't put that on. That's not his fault.
No. Oh, I felt so bad for him. I would have, and to go back to Nuhu, he would have had to caught something there.
Oh yeah.
He was.
Maybe not back. Maybe not an intentional at the time, but that's one of those that as a defensive player,
get him back.
That's one of those you leave your foot up a little longer than it probably should be, and you catch him and he goes over, and you're like, my bad, sorry, I didn't do it. I didn't do anything.
Before we get out of here, a couple results around the MLS yesterday we can talk about, because obviously we're coming down to it in both conferences. Charlotte FC continues kind of their maiden voyage into the MLS, a 1-0 victory over NYCFC, who is just floundering at this point after Tati was transferred out. Charlotte winning that game a man up after getting a red card. Another team that got a red card last night, Nashville FC, who gives up. It was Zimmerman in the 97th gets sent off. Ricky Pooch putting it away to equalize. 1-1 draw there. A big result for Austin and trying to hold off the rest of these teams chasing. Eastern Conference, Philly 5-1, a juggernaut. They continue to just steamroll.
What is the all-time goal differential record?
It's a good question.
Because they're what, plus 46 right now?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and I think too, they have to be in contention for the least goals given up in a season. I think it's only 22. I see Phoenix on the horn over there trying to get us the correct information.
22 goals.
While we wait for that, 6-0 FC Cincinnati over San Jose. I believe Brenner with the hat trick. I believe, 47th, 90th, and 95th. So Cincinnati really stepping on the throat of San Jose yesterday evening. FC Dallas 2-1 over LAFC. LAFC also caught a red card. LAFC, Hollingshead sent off against his former club in the 13th minute. LAFC actually takes the lead right before half, and FC Dallas doesn't break through till the 78th minute. Jesus Ferreira actually braces 78th and 81st to pick up a big 3 points for FC Dallas. Houston Dynamo red card in the, we'll shout out Kevin Lopez out there, everybody's favorite SKC fan. Feel his pain having to stream that game last night. Phoenix, did you find any info for us on Philly?
Couldn't find. No, everything is the best was like Chivas for all time or something like
sure.
It's all time goal differential is what the stat I'm finding.
What's the all time?
I've scrolled away from it now. Yeah. I think it was 100 and something. I don't know. It's now with LAFC losing all these games, wouldn't it feel so nice to capitalize on at least 2 of our last 5 games, or the 4 or 5 games that we've lost?
Yep.
Oh,
just to make it a little bit more interesting. Again, the playoff berth would be clinched. That would be behind us. Yeah. And we would just be. It would feel like maybe at worst we're second, and we're pushing LAFC as they continue to crumble. On the other hand, we have just followed in their footsteps since we maybe it's them. Maybe they rubbed off on us.
Yeah.
And it's not you and I, Ian. I think we'll blame LAFC. We can blame Gareth Bale.
Always blame LAFC.
You, honestly.
What'd you say?
I think it might just be you.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think I had anything to do with it.
We'll see, because Wednesday, the first Austin FC home match this year that Ian will not be present at Q2, headed back for old Peter's bachelor party. Ian's
Shout out
buddy
Pete.
Up there in New York.
Hitched.
There was a wedding party at the Seattle game last night in our section.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Came with us to the pregame and the postgame stuff.
Were they at Nashville too?
No
that
idea.
is a more Nashville type of thing. Well, I guess that's gonna do it for us here. We appreciate everybody. We went a little over an hour here, but I thought great, Phoenix, great to have you on. Really appreciate you coming on, giving us some of your insight, your conversation.
Absolutely.
Really enjoyed it, man. You're welcome back anytime. And before we get out of here, again, let the people know where they can find you.
Probably the easiest way to do it, Phoenix_YT, no I, on Twitter, and that's got links to everything else. Phoenix HD on YouTube. I'm there consistently every weekend. Maybe not every single game for the rest of the season. Trying to see if some things can fall into line for us, my girlfriend and I, to go up to Vancouver to hopefully maybe not see us clinch playoffs. Hopefully we've done that by then.
Right, clinch the second.
Maybe at that point.
Yeah,
clinching something.
Yeah, so. October 2nd or something like that. October 1st. First. So yeah, but that'll be great. Have a road correspondent up there.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we can get some stuff sorted out.
Absolutely. Well, we will be back after the RSL game Wednesday, recapping that match hopefully a 2-0 victory, and previewing Saturday's rematch with Nashville and Hani Mukhtar. Follow Phoenix on socials. You can follow me at Kawhisenberg DFS on Twitter. You can follow the show at the North End Pod on Twitter and on YouTube. And despite teasing us last week, you can still find E nowhere. Still working on getting him that.
Get on Twitter. Come on.
Yeah.
Join us. Join us in the bathroom stall talk.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot worse than I meant it. Oh, well.
Sold.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets them on board. That's what gets them on board.
I did my thing on Reddit last night. Some guy was talking shit about Josh Wolf, and I got him to delete his whole post. I think it might have been you, Phoenix.
No, it wasn't me. No. I was off Twitter last night. First time all season.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, to the guy that I made delete his post on Reddit, I'm sorry, bud.
Don't be sorry. Probably
I'm
deserved
sorry.
it.
Yeah, well, I've no comment from me there, but again, if you've stuck with us this long, we really appreciate you. Again, we'll be back on Thursday with the RSL recap. Once again, thanks to Phoenix. For E, I'm Zach. Everybody enjoy your week. We'll see you at Q2 on Wednesday. Until then, vamos Austin FC. Goodbye.
3, 2, 1, yeah!